Hey guys, I'm back for another video, and today I'm back for a commentary video. Yeah, this is pretty not typical of my channel nowadays, but today I'm talking about Hytale. So for those of you that might have been around for a while, you would remember that my last Hytale video was over a year ago. I personally have taken a break from the Hytale community, and as passionate as I was about the game, I wasn't coming back anytime soon because Skyblock took my attention for pretty much the entire time I've been gone from the space. So today I'm making this video because the majority of my audience doesn't know what Hytale is, which is kind of funny because for about 4 months in late 2018 and early 2019, I was a Hytale commentary YouTuber. The Hytale team has recently hinted that the game is set for a 2021 release. So because of that, I wanted to talk about why I love the concept of the game so much, and I guess I'll just talk about my plans for the release, as well as my opinion on the game itself. The biggest selling point for me is that Hytale is more than just a game. It's actually an engine. So of course there's going to be a great survival and mini game servers, of course, you know, but I think the game's probably going to be more useful as a tool for modders. Yeah, so to start this off, I know a lot of you guys, again, haven't even heard of Hytale, so I'm going to do a live reaction of the trailer. And actually, a YouTuber named Quebec Corner put together all of the gameplay footage so far, so we'll be reacting to that as well. And I'll just explain why this game is more than just another voxel-based adventure RPG. If you haven't seen the Hytale announcement trailer, I'm going to leave a link in the cards right now. It is a great little video. I would recommend you watch it before you actually look at my reaction to it, just so you get the full experience of the trailer. So obviously the game looks a lot like Minecraft, right? But that's, again, it's a voxel-based game. There's a lot more detail than in Minecraft. You can see by like the mushrooms and stuff and that staff there. A lot of cool weapons, a lot of cool scenery, much higher block limit than Minecraft. Obviously the more important stuff is later on because, again, I think the game's value is more so for the modding. Again, a lot more detail. Farming. I mean, obviously the survival mode's... Oh, a little lag there. The survival mode's going to be great. Okay, there's going to be a lot of crafting, a lot of potions. There's a cat in there, which is kind of neat. But anyway, I'm not going to nitpick everything. Let's keep going. Dynamic lighting with the torch there. Really far render distance. So you can see the combat there. It looks like a bit of a middle ground between Minecraft 1.8 and 1.9 PvP. It looks like there's a cooldown between each hit, but it seems like it's way more sophisticated, way better implemented. That's super important in my opinion for the multiplayer. Flaming sword looks really neat. The water looks great. Bro, look at this. I mean, come on. This was released 2 years ago, this video. Bruh. That looks incredible. More dynamic lighting. Facial expressions on the characters. Different types of weapons and attacks. Dungeons loot. Okay, so obviously that was survival. This is when things get to other aspects of the game. But first of all, that survival mode is going to be insane. I think it's going to be way better than even most mod packs in Minecraft. And I think the devs, I should stop mentioning Minecraft. The devs don't want to compare this to Minecraft. If anything, I would say it's actually more similar to Cube World or Terraria, so let's keep that in mind. But, you know, we're all Minecraft people here, so it's hard not to make that comparison. But I would describe Hytale as if Hypixel Studios you know, had the chance to not be limited by Minecraft when they made their games. And that's exactly what this community server segment's all about, as you'll see in a second. And here's the first example. This is Skywars in Hytale. So this is big. I think, you know, Skywars, Bed Wars, they have massive limitations because of the fact they're made in Minecraft. Now, these things are confirmed to come back in Hytale. There is on the website little icons for Bed Wars as well as Skywars, and I think Mega Walls and Paintball. So that's interesting. Also, if you look on the left side here in a second, there's a guy that's going to speed bridge Pocket Edition style. Not too excited about that, but otherwise this looks great. That is Hunger Games 100%. I mean, look at it. There's chests in the middle. There's the... So, again, just a better version of all of Hypixel's game modes right here. Massive battles. I don't know what it is. And then there's the modding. Now, this is the thing I'm most excited about. So you see a bunch of guys with guns here, and it's a top-down shooter. So first of all, there's all sorts of things going on here. Custom models, custom textures for that armor and that weapon there. Custom weapons. Projectile-based custom weapons. And there's those little orbs around the characters, which would suggest that the modding... I don't know if that's a built-in thing, being able to specify whether or not there's like little orbs around each character there, or little circles on the ground, but is very different from Hytale, which is makes me hopeful, because if the modding allows you to do this, I mean, we'll get to why I'm excited about the shooter aspect later, I guess. This is a animation software very similar to Cinema 4D or Blender. You can see the keyframes on the bottom there. All sorts of different animations listed on the side. You'll see idle, walk backwards, crouch, run, jump. Then you get to select all the different shapes on this character. So not only can you model your own characters, but you can animate each individual cube on them, as well as just the whole thing. So you can add as many animations as you like. Which, you know, again, you can make a shooting animation. You can make a crouching and prone animation if you're making a shooter game. If you're making, I don't know, some game with mages in it, maybe you can have them hold their hands up and just kind of like have fire coming out of their hands. So you can basically animate whatever you want, which is, again, huge for modding. Because in Minecraft, there really are no animations without... there's a little bit of animating, but it's really rudimentary, and you need some pretty heavy mods to add actual animations into the game. But anyway, moving on. This is more survival. Looks like an infected area here, very similar to Blightfall. I made a whole video on that like 2 years ago. It's pretty interesting, but moving on. That's a mini-map. This is nice. There's also a quest system. You can see there it says defeat the golem. That means that story mode is likely an RPG. It has RPG aspects, I should say, because it's already been confirmed you can't actually level up your character or get any perks, but you can get better equipment. So kind of similar to Subnautica, how like inherently your character isn't any weaker or stronger as the game goes on, but your equipment gets better. But there are quests, so I think it's safe to say that this is like an RPG, which is really cool, by the way. Character customization, watching YouTube videos in a library. This is like their forge mode or their level building mode. Looks very extensive. The in-game cinematic tools look really neat as well, paired with the animations that we talked about earlier. There's green screens in the back. There's effects with like explosions. This will be really helpful for server owners that want to make trailers for their stuff, or maybe even like I know in Minecraft, at least, there's a lot of people that make animations and like tell stories through in-game cinematics, and this would be a great system to help out with that. Live scripting. I know it's very tiny, but as you can see in the top left there, that is JavaScript, I believe. Live scripting is huge. The scripting might be JavaScript, but the actual modding will be in Java. But yeah, this is big because not only can you make custom animations and characters, but you can also code custom actions. You can make these characters think. They can have AI. you could make it so that there are server-wide events going on that are not even, well, this is the scripting portion, so it has everything to do with individual objects, you know, an object-oriented programming, like this little golem thing. This is the trigger editor, it says, which basically, if it means what I think it means, a trigger is similar to an event from Java. I code a lot of plugins, so an event is, these event handlers are set up so that if something happens, for example, an event handler could be on entity damage or something. So if a player hit an entity, if that entity is an imp, then you know, or whatever this thing is, it goes to that function you wrote in the class for the imp, and then it's like, hey, he got hit, so what animation do we play? We'll play the get hurt animation. How much health do we remove? However much defense it is multiplied by the damage of the weapon the character had. I don't know, something like that. So you can code every animation. You can, this is huge. And that's Hytale. So this is a whole bunch of gameplay to do with Hytale. They're throwing poop at each other. Just kind of funny. But there's some cool things, like you can chuck rocks and they actually land in the landscape. So way more complicated than just a voxel based, like, place a block and that's it. You know, there's actual objects other than blocks in the world. There's a spear, which you can use as a melee weapon or throw, which is very interesting. And I think all of the gameplay that's shown so far is for the survival mode, so I'm not going to touch on it too much, but just know that this game is a lot more capable than anything we're used to, at least. The roof really makes a house come together, which is something that Minecraft lacks. I mean, there's stairs, but listen to this ambience. And this is what the combat looks like for now. That is some complicated behavior right there, by the way. What they just did with that that cacti. So the way that works is that the devs had used their scripting tools that they mentioned earlier. If they have a target near them, the target has to be facing the opposite direction, or the cacti needs to not be in their line of sight. And when that happens, it approaches the player, but the second they're spotted, they stop and they hide. That is some really complicated behavior that I don't think anyone's really talked about just yet. But like, this gets me really excited because, like, you could practically make anything you want, dude, in terms of behavior of these monsters. Which also means technically you can make a sneak system if you wanted. I'm a big Fallout fan, so a sneak system would be incredible. Oh, listen to that ambience. It's incredible, dude. Legendary chest with a thorium sword inside. I do like the way the sword swinging animation looks. It feels very smooth. This is some more complicated behavior. This guy is befriending, I forgot the name of this thing, with meat. Just very interesting. I don't know if he's befriending it, but he's distracting it so it doesn't attack him. Yeah, look at that. These things are usually There's interactions between different mobs. Again, very complicated behavior due to the scripting system. Very neat. They don't like fire. So I should probably clarify, right? All the things that you're seeing here is actual gameplay, first of all, but also anything that the Hytale team has done with the behavior and the look and the animations of these mobs, they insist that we can do this as well. So like, these are not hard-coded in behaviors. These are coded in using scripting, the same tools that we're getting access to. So that's why, again, I am super excited for modding. There's some shaders going on there. Really nice looking lighting. It's just beautiful, dude. And, you know, the engine's built from the ground up, so it actually will use multiple threads, as opposed to Minecraft, which runs on a single thread. So I bet you the performance is going to be so much better. Just look at that lighting, dude. That is also very cool looking. Oh, here's some more of that behavior with the mouse and cheese. Which could potentially mean you can make traps as well for different mobs. Oh, the spider eggs, dude. Look at that. It's gross. Here's another combat demonstration. This is interesting because there is knockback and one skeleton just hit another on its way out. So like, that was really interesting. The two mobs collided, which is kind of neat. There's mage weapons, as you can see. The guy's holding a book. Really interesting looking stuff. There might be a mana system in this game, it looks like. Some more of that beautiful ambience. So what you just saw right there with the arrows means that the mob just took notice of you, which is interesting. That means there's a line of sight. You can technically be hidden, I think, which, again, using the live scripting, if you were to sneak attack something, you could potentially do more damage, which could be cool. Also, the underwater ambience. It looks really potato right now, but the underwater ambience is really neat. I love the sound design of this game. It's very good. And again, this is old footage, like over a year old, a lot of this stuff. Like, this is the Christmas demo they did in 2019, I think. There's some more modding stuff right there. A pigeon throwing a knife. Look at the animation for this door swinging open. That is smooth. You can do that with the blocks as well, not just with entities. So that's another thing that the players can do. Oh, this is cool looking. Copy pasted a whole half of the building. Facial expressions, really neat looking. Bro, look at this scenery, dude. Oh my god. There's Fezzy. Okay, so that was cool. I had to pause that. Again, more of this modding capabilities, right? That that thing was sleeping and it just woke up and it's raining outside. And because of the rain, in the middle of it sleeping, it decides to go under shelter. It's cool. And it gets attracted to the meat, which is, again, another custom script. There's some of those custom scripts I was just talking about. They can interact with other animals. I like the weather in this game. Here's some more modding. Basically a zombie-based shooter. So as you can see, there's a lot to be excited for with Hytale. I guess my summary of what I just showed you is that, again, the game's going to be awesome as just a straight up survival experience, but there is so much more than that. Just the modding capabilities, the scripting, animating, everything will allow developers like myself to make some really cool stuff. And here's some details that were not shown in the footage. The way that Hytale will do its modding is similar to how Minecraft does its plugins. So in Java, you can code all of this stuff. And with JavaScript, you can script the specific behaviors of these mobs. It's complicated. I'm not going to get too far into it, but basically, it's like a server plugin. So you don't need to install any of these mods. You log into a server and it automatically downloads everything you need in order to play on that server. Which brings up the question, what are people going to make with this? It's going to be insane because you can model and animate and texture your own stuff. And then you can specifically change its behavior and add whole new systems to the game. For example, you can add guns, you can animate the guns, you can have an actual projectile that goes and hits things, and then you could code what happens when something gets shot. It's very extensive and it's impressive as hell. So what are my plans for Hytale's release exactly? So Fezzy and I, Fezzy's my editor and a great friend of mine. If you guys don't know, we've been having this arrangement for over 1.5 years now where we survive until Hytale by making the daily Hypixel Skyblock videos. Skyblock so blew up my channel last year, and at the moment the goal is to grow as much as possible before Hytale's release, and then to switch over once Skyblock's hype dies down. Over the past year, we've refined our process and can get quality uploads out of a day. Like, I would say 4 or 5 hours of streaming on my part, the VOD gets handed over to Fezzy, and then 8 hours later, boom, it's a video. Once Hytale releases though, Fezzy told me that it would be a cakewalk to edit videos for me because by far the longest part of his editing process is sorting out the clips from the VODs. If I'm recording a Hytale video, almost every second is going to be worth including, minus a few little, awkward silences or whatever. But instead of 5 hours to make one video, in terms of raw footage, it's more like 1 to 2 hours of footage to make one video. So he'd be able to put out a whole full quality video in, like, he told me 2 hours, which is insane, by the way. But yeah, because of that, and since it would only take me an hour or two to record each video, we will be ramping up the channel's production to 2 videos per day following Hytale's release in the months following. Obviously, as the content dries up, we will go back to 1 upload a day. What will I upload? Well, 100% I'm going to do a co-op let's play of the survival mode. It just looks too fun not to play. Of course, I'll be giving the minigames a try on the official server. I would imagine Hypixel is what it'd be called. And I would make as many tutorials as I can manage for the modding, the animating, the scripting, everything. Because, believe it or not, I'm actually a developer. You know, I've already done most of this stuff for Minecraft. I've made plugins, and I've animated before, and I've textured things before, although I'm not that great at it. But anyway, I could do every step of the process. So, I mean, making a tutorial for this stuff would just seem natural for me, especially if the game just came out. There's going to be a high demand for people figuring out how to use these systems, and then I'll figure out tips and tricks, whatever. So that's my plan. In addition to videos, though, I'll be working with a team of roughly 60 people to kickstart my very own project, BlockShot, the Hytale FPS network. So I'm going to try and keep this brief because this is a multi-month project. It's been out for over a year, or at least the project's been in production for over a year. I myself will act as project lead for BlockShot as well as a developer. And it's a server network with the goal of offering gun-based game modes inspired by some of my favorite games growing up. The most hyped game mode is Apocalypse, and as the name suggests, it's a post-apocalyptic MMORPG. Similar to, it's got a lot of influence from games like Skyrim, Fallout, Hypixel Skyblock even, Clash of Clans. In this game mode, you explore the wasteland in first person, level yourself up, and unlock perks, and you can pick up weapons and armor, you can raid different dungeons, you could fight all sorts of enemies. You can also build your own home base and defend against raiders, or even raid settlements yourself. Again, these influences, that system is going to be interesting because you will be able to walk into someone else's base and shoot up the place and take stuff for yourself. So that'd be really cool. There will be other games, of course, like a wave-based zombie survival game mode and a competitive classic run and gun matchmaking game mode. And in one mode, we plan on allowing players to build and share their own maps, similar to Halo's Forge mode, so that's really cool. And we're even planning on a single-player campaign, but there's not much we can leak about that yet, because that one's probably one of the least developed projects so far, but I'm very excited. We've already started the process of making an original soundtrack, writing a story, building the universe, developing characters, and even testing out renders and texturing of our own weapons. I guess to conclude this video, Hytale has so much potential. Again, it's been 2 years. And it's probably going to be 2.5 years by the time this game mode comes out. And I predict it's going to be an average of 6 months from now. So maybe at maximum a year from now, but more likely I'm predicting the summer of 2021 is going to be either the beta or the release of this game. It's backed by Riot now, which is the people that, you know, brought us Valorant and a bunch of other games that I can't remember because I'm not really into Riot. But they're very good, though. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't played their other games. I think that means they have a deadline. These promises are really cool. And I can't wait to see what happens. But anyway, yeah, that's the reasons why I'm hyped for Hytale. And now I hope because of this, you are hyped as well. Make sure to check out the BlockShot Network. We have a YouTube channel, a Discord server, a website. I'll leave all of that in the pinned comment below and description, of course. And for now, I guess that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.